Hello, friends. For those here seeking to learn a thing or two about divorce, you are in the right place. If you've read my book, you will discover I have more than my share of experience. Today, we are covering 10 stupid mistakes couples make during a divorce. If you're here to learn about relationships, this is good. It will prompt you to think carefully before you commit to saying, I do. 1. Moving out. Should you? Oops. But what if I've already moved out? With no children, it can have legal ramifications and could come up across as it's okay for your spouse to have the house. So be careful. If you move out or abandon the residence as you truly are okay with it, or with assuming both house and new home, like an apartment, let's say, which are marital expenses, if you move out, you are telling the courts you are okay with it. Can your spouse afford dual expenses? When you move out, you will think it will be okay, but you need to reconsider. Be strategic. Alternatively, if you fear for your life and safety and anticipate being harmed, you need to be safe, and other measures should be considered. The biggest mistake with children, it can be problematic if the child is interacting with the other parent. Make certain there is some form of visitation in place. Some families give to the other restrictive visitation. For example, mom can make a case that dad is out of the house and will require to tell the court dad is restricting visitation. Beware, there may be financial impact here to the child's support. Ever hear of PAS? It is known as Parent Alienation Syndrome, and it is real. And if you are deemed one, it can cost you. For example, suppose dad is out of the house and the child asks, "Where's dad?" Mom may say, "He's moved out with his girlfriend and we don't have any money." The focus needs to be always to be in the best interest of the child. If you can go into a separate room, do it. If need be, get a security system and put a lock in it. Someone will need to leave at some point, but never give your right away, and never speak poorly about the other parent to your child. Remember, the child or your children didn't sign up for this, so strive hard to keep your cool, calm, and be collected. On another note, please ask questions or make suggestions here in the comments section. Everyone can learn from one another. You may always DM me if you wish. 2. Choosing the wrong lawyer. If it is absolutely needed, please choose wisely. An average divorce can run upwards of $35,000, and that's depending on the complexity of your case. If your divorce is high conflict or deemed high conflict, expect your costs to be upwards of $75,000. Sometimes, after retaining an attorney, you may discover they are not the right fit or what you had thought would have been, and be forced to find a new attorney. And let me tell you, this can become even more expensive. Retaining one is not cheap, and the last thing you want is to hire multiple attorneys. Please vet your attorney and ensure they are knowledgeable and have the temperament that works best for you. Some leave you guessing, and others expect you to accept their strategy because they happen to know law, which in turn causes you to feel uncertain and at times very silenced in your case. Others will drag the divorce for longer than you had hoped to sadly capitalize on your misfortunes at a great cost. When you interview one, have your questions ready. Pick their brain. Ask them how they propose handling your case. Ask them what specifically do they specialize in. Some solely practice on family law, while others simultaneously focus on both family law and probate or criminal, which, by the way, is ideal for domestic violence cases, most specifically when it involves child custody. Whichever your matter may be, don't forget, you are paying for their service and you expect to be informed at all times. And I don't mean the week before the hearing. You want to be engaged in your case so you and your counsel are in sync. Also, prior to retaining any attorney, please contact or visit the Bar Association and search online for the attorney you are considering retaining. You want to ensure the record is crystal clean. Doing this search is 100% free to you. If you must hire an attorney because you work and have time restraints, have or potentially a vindictive spouse, or there is documentation of domestic violence, please ensure to hire one that practices on a day-to-day basis family law, and that they have the necessary set skills that work for your case. You must trust they have your best interests at heart. Just ensure to follow your intuition. Some questions that you may want to consider asking them during your initial consultation. You want to ask, what are your thoughts of settlement and or trial? This question will tell you immediately how well they are able to handle a high conflict case, just like you would when hiring a surgeon to operate on you or your child. Ask questions. Ask them, what is their communication style, so you know what to expect, particularly in an emergency. Some are consumed with cases in court and not very reliable at responding when you need them. If this is the case, establish good communication with their staff, especially their paralegal who's doing a lot of the paperwork. Also, ensure to share with them what your ultimate goals are for your divorce. You want to put your best foot forward, which means looking at everything surrounding your case. Don't cut corners, particularly when it comes down to what is best for you and your family. If you want to brave it on your own, like I did, after spending over $1 million, including the kitchen sink, I kid you not, and want me to guide you or coach you, you must know I'm ready to support you. Anyone can do this. Besides, no one can tell your story better than you. You lived it. Your family deserves to keep their hard-earned money, opposed to being forced to apply for loans or max out their credit cards. I get it. You need to make ends meet. Believe me when I tell you, you 100% can do this on your own and or against your spouse's family law attorney. You're really much more stronger than you think. Have any questions? I'm here for you. If anyone cares to share a brief experience with our community, please don't hesitate to share it in the comments section below. Let's learn from each other's experience and support one another. 3, waiting for your spouse to file. Let me tell you, each case is different. There are procedural differences. The first person to file becomes the petitioner, and the judge always looks at your case first. Once you file, it puts your spouse on notice on the procedural process. The date of filing or separation could have financial ramifications. For example, If you won the lotto after separation, then guess what? It becomes your private property. There are advantages if you filed first. Sometimes it's not the best time financially to divorce. Something to consider, specifically when you consider how long you've been married, which could determine your exposure to permanent alimony. If you choose to file first, there is a fee. Understand that you must pay to the court clerk, which runs approximately about $400. Each state differs. However, if you do not have the means to pay it, but wish to proceed filing with your divorce, you could complete and submit a fee waiver form. And based on your minimal income, there is a high probability the fee will be waived. Just ensure to jot down your thoughts as they come to mind and leave your inquiries in the comment section below. Note, some states, like North Carolina, will consider an affair, meaning infidelity, opposed to more liberal states that appear more balanced in mind, like California. For example, who gets to pay alimony? If there are any issues with alcohol, drugs, or abuse, this is huge, particularly if your spouse is seeking child custody or wants you to pay spousal support and they are employable. Their income can be imputed, meaning their support can be reduced, and likewise, if there are any income and property issues, one must be open to discuss. For some, what I share here may seem a little foreign, I get it, but let me assure you that it's easier than you think. I am here to support you. Remember to leave a comment below with any questions you may have or that you're prompted with. 4, concealing information from your spouse, or if you have an attorney, can be a costly mistake from having maximized visitation to supervised visitation, like is the case to you paying alimony or not paying alimony. Withholding information can also impact having a better division of property, to having a lesser share of the debt, to even having a greater share of the property. I know it can be very confusing, but bottom line here is that much of your credibility depends on the veracity of your testimony. That's how you come across. So aim to be honest, not only with money, but also with issues related to your children. Consider what I want to call the doctor and attorney analogy I shared earlier with you. The way you communicate with your doctor, where you share very specifics, if you here or over there, wherever it may be, should be the same as when you speak with me as your mediator or anyone for that matter. Remember that withholding information is essentially being deceitful, and we know that one lie leads to another. Just aim to be truthful. The court counts on your veracity, among other things like your accuracy, your reliability, and true statements. Just last week, in fact, I witnessed a $100 million court dispute. I kid you not. That had been brewing for close to 2 years with no conclusion. The husband had retained a notable law firm with 2 dedicated attorneys and staff, while the wife had 55 million liquidated assets and sadly was now on her 3rd counsel. Yes, exactly my thoughts. Long story short, the judge set a trial date for 4 months out for their trial. So yes, the court case load with divorces are on the rise, especially when the end of the year comes around and couples just want to start fresh into the new year. And let me share, having been exposed to what seems hundreds of hours in the courtroom, I not only determined what was a high-profile case, but it was infused with dishonesty. That, at the end of the day, will rob the couple blind with unnecessary legal fees and permanently destroy them financially, not to mention their children. Why do couples divorcing automatically turn against one another, opposed to agreeing to disagree and walk away? There are many reasons, but for all intent and purposes, let's just call it greed. Going to court for your divorce is a massive waste of time and energy that could be better spent on you and your children. The vitriol and vexation state of mind is inevitable. You are going to encounter it. But let me warn you, once you enter the legal arena, when coupled with legal fees, they will be disastrous. This is precisely the reason why I always recommend foregoing the expense and undergoing it on your own with guidance from someone like myself who genuinely cares and who is experienced. I was once scared to death of the process due to many unforeseen experiences, which I share inside my book, Divorce in the World of Family Law. Please check out the second edition. I had lost so much that I chose to take matters into my own hands and learn the process well. Hence, it is what I do today. I help families dissolve their marriage, bypassing attorneys and going straight to the judge. I survived it and noticeably found it easier and less stressful than it is portrayed to be when there is heavy litigation, and I chose to silence all the loud noises around me when I did, and when I chose to stop and silence all the loud noises that were surrounding me, I discovered how it could be done. Today, nearing 18 years, I have more than experience under my belt. Listen, I resonate with your anguish and want you to know I care more than you know. Stop and think. If you are contemplating a divorce, how can anyone benefit from being in such chaotic and toxic state of being? Divorce bogs down your spirit with fear, anxiety, and uncertainty. Don't be manipulated by those who seek to take your money. They are not God and make more mistakes than I ever had imagined. Life was designed to be enjoyed. Please don't let anyone rob you of your happiness. If you have any thoughts or questions, please leave them in the comment below. I am here to serve you and to help you bounce back and reclaim your life during and after divorce. 5. Neglecting the children is a mistake to avoid. We know the word can be ugly at times, and abandoning kids in the mix of your divorce is equally as sad. And so you know the court frowns on this. I understand that life gets in the way sometimes, particularly during a dissolution. However, your goal should always be to maximize your time with your children. For custody purposes, please know what their education and extracurricular activities look like, what they like, who their best friend is. Essentially, that you take the time to know and learn more. And I don't mean just help them with homework. Take them to the movie, read a book together, have their friends visit your home. Essentially, be engaged. Also, know who your children truly are. Who takes your child to all of their doctor's appointments? No parent could be driving that wedge where they do not inform the other to intentionally cut them off from learning more about their child. All appointments, orthodontics, psychiatrists, therapists, academic IEP meetings, babysitting names, etc. are among those most often complained about. The key is to know how much time you spend with your children and what they love to do. Plan ahead. Know what you should do with them when you are together. Really, knowing your kids can't be overemphasized. Now, if you're single, my advice may come in handy if you are contemplating dating, remarrying someone with children. If you are truly ready to love unconditionally in a way that without being judgmental, it's a tough question, but one you may be forced to face. If you are not ready, consider bowing out gracefully and be honest with yourself. Families across the globe are being tested today to the point children are being isolated, are feeling unloved, and are found turning to others for validation, which, by the way, you may not approve of, and unfortunately in some cases become suicidal. Family dynamics plays a significant role in your courting journey, and extending love, understanding, and resisting criticism is key. I'm curious, as it relates to children, what challenges or fears are you experiencing or have faced? Please share in the comment section. I want to know.